We okay. On Halth and Squalwyn, Quisclake, Quachnomi, Tenoyapan, and Siayite, and Sahuedo, to Squires to Seats. I'm really happy to see that you all came here today, all of you, my friends and family. And Sequalia, Quisham and Sna, my ancestral name is Sequalia, also known as Anne Wannick, one of the Squamish Nation councillors and elected spokesperson for the nation. And I'm going to be emceeing today. And I just really want to thank everyone for being here, and just going to ask us all to open our hearts and minds and hands quickly, because I'm going to say Chen Kwen Mentomi Kakakanik Chasiam Yonsion so Tanoyap and Munmun Squalwin to Squires to Seats. Asking Creator to watch over all your children that are gathered here today and help us with our Squalwin, the feelings in our hearts and minds, our total being, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness. And asking prayers, Creator, to have a yet one halt seats up and excellent work today. I'd like to now invite to the front here, Jolais, Alec Dan from Musqueam Indian Band, to Sponchton, Calvin Charlie Dawson from the Squamish Nation, and Hannes William George Thomas from to Tsleil-Waututh Nation to come join us in front here. And they're going to open us with a song from each of the three nations. So, MST. Chenquementomiap, Chales, Sconchten, Hanas. Joining our celebrations today are Yukyakaluk, Chief Wayne Sparrow from Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, Councillor Wilson Williams from the Squamish Nation, Councillor Curtis Thomas from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, as well as Premier Eby and Mayor Ken Sim. And I also want to acknowledge today that we have many of our MST Nation members, councillors, elders. I have to acknowledge my cousin Cockleton Siam from Squamish Nation, and the many others who worked on this initiative before we got to today. And also want to acknowledge MST Development Corporation, the BC government employees, and other leadership from the BC government that are here, and all the many people. And this announcement today is a really special and historic day, as it is the result of, as I said, years of advocacy and hard work that got us to this point where we're at today. And I'd like to now introduce Premier David Eby of the Government of BC to share some words with us.
Thank you so much for the welcome to the territory, for the opening songs. It's great to be with everybody today. We're actually going to start with a bit of a gift presentation for the representatives of the Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh that are here today. I'd like to begin with a gift for Chief Wayne Sparrow from the Musqueam Indian Band. Chief Sparrow has been absolutely instrumental in ensuring that this announcement today was able to happen. Thank you for your vision on this, Chief. We're honored to present you with the minister here. Come on up, Chief. The minister has a bentwood box, and it's by Joe Campbell, a Coast Salish artist. On the box is an image of a bear, and the artist advises us that the bear represents courage and strength, and that's certainly two attributes that helped us get across the line here, Chief, and in your leadership. So thank you very much for your work on this.
Golf club.
You like golf, so that's okay. The next gift is for Councillor Wilson Williams, who's representing the Squamish Nation. The commitment of the Squamish Nation to supporting people through affordable housing certainly can't be questioned, and I want to really recognize the leadership of Squamish on that. Councillor Williams, we're presenting you with Spindle and Whirl, which is by the Coast Salish artist Roger Charlie. The image on the whirl is a wolf, which we're told represents family and togetherness, which is what this project will be all about, bringing community together, bringing families together. So thank you for your work on this. Thank you to Squamish Nation. And our final gift is for Tsleil-Waututh First Nation, represented today by Councillor Curtis Thomas, and Chief Jen Thomas has been very involved in this project as well. I want to thank you for your steadfast support on this project, your commitment to delivering housing for people. And the image that Roger Charlie put on this one is an image of an eagle, which we're told symbolizes great vision and strength and the ability to go further and bridge different worlds. And I think that today's announcement is really all about that, all of us working together to deliver amazing and affordable housing for people in this province. So thank you very much for your work on this.
Awesome. Thanks,
You're speaking now. They'll each do their gifts after they speak.
Sounds good. Sequoia is just coaching me through here. We'll get there. Thanks for the advice. Great to see everybody here today. And I was pinching myself a little bit in the car on the way here. I'm so excited to be here. So much work has gone into today's announcement by so many different people. City of Vancouver, within the provincial government, our team in the public service, the First Nations leadership and their teams. And the results, I think, are remarkable, and I'm hopeful show the way forward on one of the most vexing issues that people face, not just in British Columbia, but right across Canada, is the issue of finding a home they can afford for themselves, for their families, to build a good life for themselves. We're just 2 days, amazingly, from the start of the writ period, the election period. I don't know if there's enough pumpkin spice in the world to get us through it, but we're gonna do our best. And despite that, the work can't stop on these critical issues, which is why I'm so excited to be able to share this announcement with you here today. The vision that we have for the province is that everybody should be able to find a decent place to live. They should be able to finish the day, if they're working hard, following the rules, finish the day further ahead than they started the day, not further behind. And part of that critical piece of feeling that security and feeling that connection to community is having a decent place to live. It is fundamental to our economy, to the success of our economy, but most importantly, to the success of British Columbians. For too long, the vision of home ownership, the idea of home ownership has been out of reach for way too many people who earn a decent income, priced out of the market, and not seeing any path to being able to own a home. We have worked hard with our partners in municipal government, with First Nations partners, with the private sector, with the nonprofit sector, to turn that around, and today's announcement is part of that work. We have an action plan in place that will deliver, experts say, about 300,000 attainable middle-income housing units across the province by getting a lot of the process and the red tape out of the way to build. We've legalized townhomes. We've legalized side splits and the ability for people to build more than one home on a single family lot, creating that entry point for people into the housing market. We're seeing some moderation in real estate prices. Where I'm most heartened is to finally see rents starting to come down in the province, while nationally rents are still trending up. There are lots of possible explanations for this, but I can assure you that the report about our work on Airbnb that came out yesterday, it says that helped reduce rents here in the city of Vancouver. The fact that we're building 4 times more rental housing than the province of Ontario, the fact that we're addressing vacant homes by opening them up for rent through the speculation tax, all of these pieces are contributing to that work, as well as the more than 10,000 units of student housing we're delivering across the province to take pressure off the local rental market. I think the contrast is quite stark with the proposals for where this province should go on housing in the upcoming election. You know, on the one hand, we're committing to and have committed to doing everything, all of the above, addressing the toxic demand in the housing market, the speculation, Airbnb, all those other pieces, as well as the supply end, making sure that the homes are getting built that we need in the province. And I could spend the whole morning, and I won't, I promise, talking about how we're going to address this housing crisis for people, how we're going to support them with the biggest challenge that they face. On the other hand, John Rustad, who is committed to going back to the old status quo on housing, to eliminating all of these initiatives, to getting rid of the speculation tax on vacant homes, to opening up homes to speculators again through the Airbnb program, to putting red tape and barriers in place to building the attainable middle-income housing that we need. When he was asked what part of the government's housing initiatives he would keep, he had a 2-word answer: not much. Well, that's about the same answer that he would give to the question of British Columbians asking, what are you going to do for me to get into attainable housing? Not much. We have a different approach. So enough of that. let's talk about why you're here and why I'm so excited about what's happening here today, what has been envisioned by the leadership at Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh for the use of this land, and what we have been able to deliver here together in partnership with the City of Vancouver and the nations. Today, I'm announcing that we have partnered with the MST Nations to create 2,600 homes on this site, the Heatherland site, that middle-income British Columbians can actually afford. The way we are delivering this for middle-income British Columbians to ensure affordability involves really all hands on deck. It involves the City of Vancouver fast-tracking the permits and the zoning so that we can get built quickly on the site, reducing the holding costs. It involves the nations bringing the land to the table so that we can do this work together. And it involves the province of British Columbia with an innovative financing arrangement for the home buyers who will be moving into these homes, where government initially finances and covers 40% of the market price, allowing homeowners to be able to buy in here for 60% of market value. Now this, bear with me, gets a bit technical here, but this is where the magic is. The 40% contribution from government is not a grant. It's not an ongoing subsidy. It is financing. The 40% is repaid at the end of 25 years or when the owner sells. The government also, the public, participates in any appreciation in the value of the property. What this means is that what we have created here together is a financing tool that protects taxpayers, that minimizes impact on public budgets, and yet at the same time delivers affordable housing now, and when the loan is paid back by the homeowner, protects affordability in the future, creates the possibility of that money going back into further attainable housing initiatives. The money is not used up. It catalyzes further attainable housing into the future. The units are sold as 99-year leases, strata leaseholds with Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh. Now, the unit prices will be determined at the time that they actually go up for sale. But if they were for sale today, under current market conditions, a studio apartment on this site would sell for $620,000. Under this program that we're announcing today, that same studio apartment will sell for $372,000. On this site today, the market price for a two-bedroom condo would be $1.3 million. Under this program that we're announcing today, that will be $780,000. In terms of who will qualify to be able to buy these homes, there will be a priority placed on first-time homebuyers. There will be strict criteria around income and asset ceilings for buyers. I want to assure you that we will have strict rules and screening measures in place, and anyone who thinks that they can game the system, when we detect that, there will be serious consequences, so there's no point. This will be dedicated for people who help make our communities grow, who have been priced out of the market and would not have any other opportunity to get in a reasonable way. The registration for this project will happen in the spring, and construction will begin soon after. Now, the piece about this that I really like is that by doing this work together, we are creating a new model of delivering attainable middle-income housing, and it is not exclusively government money that needs to participate in this way in attainable middle-income housing. This creates the possibility for patient capital with foundations and other groups to potentially provide the financing support as a social purpose investment for their funds. The possibility of leveraging not just the strength of government to deliver attainable housing for people without impairing government budgets, and also creating a pathway for those that have that capital and want to assist in delivering attainable housing for people, but have commitments that they need to meet around return on their investment creates the possibility that this could be leveraged on many, many projects. Keep in mind that these projects are in the most expensive real estate market in Canada, one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world, that we are delivering units at 40% or 40% below market. This can be replicated across British Columbia in markets that are under significantly less affordability challenge, delivering significantly more affordability for people right across British Columbia. I'm so excited about the possibility of scaling this right across British Columbia. We've delivered a number of important changes that are showing up in actual results in the province that I'm proud of. 84,000 new homes delivered or underway in the province with government support, financing from social housing to student housing, you name it. We're leading Ontario in rental housing construction by nearly 4 times, and we're seeing impacts on rents. But I am nowhere near satisfied. Until all British Columbians have the opportunity to get into attainable housing that they and their families can afford, our work is not done, and we will not rest. But today is a wonderful day, and I feel us taking one step closer to that goal. Thank you very much.
Chen Quen Mentomi, Premier David Eby, for those words. Today, the MST Nations envisioned the Affordable Housing Initiative, and we presented a partnership opportunity to the government of BC to help make this vision come into reality, and also working with the City of Vancouver in regards to making sure we move forward smoothly. And it's an honor to be able to be sharing and being the MC to introduce all the dignitaries that are speaking. I'd like to now invite Musqueam Chief Yukyakuluk, Chief Wayne Sparrow, to speak.
Good morning, everyone. Before I get into my words that I have, we also have a gift for our ministers. If you could step forward, and Premier, on behalf of our community, acknowledging all the hard work that they've done on behalf. So we have our ladies here with our blankets that we want to present, Premier, ministers, to each of you for all your hard work today. You have 4 of them, right? And Ken, Ken. I was going, why do we have an extra one? Good morning. Like I said, my name's Yakaluk. I'm the elected chief of the Musqueam First Nation. I want to take this opportunity to thank our relatives. We put our differences aside, and I'm glad Chief Gibby's here today with us, because 2010 brought us together. We had a lot of differences and division between our communities. Chief Gibby was a major part of that with 2010, and how I've said many times before, how sport has brought us together. So Gibby, from our community, I want to thank you. Proud to have stand with you, proud to have worked with you, proud to argue with you. I just also want to say that these lands here, it was almost 10 years ago today that we signed this agreement to come forward. There's a lot of people that we want to acknowledge, but our cousins will also do part of those acknowledgements. It's been, like I said, 10 years, and the vision of our communities were how we can put our differences aside, work together. I want to acknowledge our mayor and the commitment and the councillors from Vancouver. City of Reconciliation, like I've said numerous times, if the provincial government and the federal government can learn on reconciliation, you guys lead the way. And I want to acknowledge, and in closing, I want to thank our Premier. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. It's been his vision as coming forward and working with them. Housing's always been a priority. We locked horns when we wanted to do the Olympics. And David's staff phoned and said, we want to talk about housing, and I told him where he could go. But after listening to them, the individuals, and seeing the vision, it fit with us. And I want to, once again, Premier, raise my hands to you. And we need leaders like this that can bring us together with a vision, bring all parties that we can come with a solution. And for so many times we criticize what's wrong, but we never give the credit when it's right and the hard work. And the City of Vancouver and the provincial government, I know our elders that aren't with us today are looking down and smiling upon the leadership of our communities and yourself. So I really got to stress how important our Premier was to get this done, and look forward to working with them in the future. So, thank you.
Chen Quinman Tomi, I'm grateful and thankful to you, Yakiakaluk, Chief Wayne, for your words. I'd now like to invite forward Squamish Nation councillor and spokesperson, Tsleil-Waututh, to come up and share words, and also inviting up Tsleil-Waututh to help them with the gift exchange.
That's Squile. Just want to call up our chairperson and Sequalia so we can stand together as we gift our partners this morning.
Premier Eby.
Just going to call forward, no specific order, Premier Eby, Mayor Ken Sim, and our ministers.
Not the ministers. Musqueam and
Okay.
sorry, man.
That's okay. Apologies. We'll gift you later. And our neighbors and our family, Musqueam and Tsleil-Waututh. We have gifts as well, as same as the Premier to Musqueam. We have carved bent boxes as a token of appreciation, not just to use for jewelry, but as a token of openness and hope as we continue on this journey. So on behalf of our Squamish people, our hands go up to you and our partnership, OCM. Yuan Hath and Squalowin. Yuan Hath. I have nothing but good feelings standing here today to be a voice for our Squamish Ochomeo, our Squamish people. I share the same sentiments of thanks and praise to our partners for this journey. I really want to acknowledge some of our past leadership of the MST Nations, some who have left us, but their legacy lives on. Legacy that started I know our chief, Wayne, mentioned 2010, but some of these people dedicated their lives to give back. When they had the baton, they seen the vision that our ancestors seen of that hope for our future. Just want to acknowledge Maureen Thomas, late Ernie Campbell, late Leonard George, 3 hereditary chiefs from the Squamish people, Chief Gibby Jacob, Chief Bill Williams, Chief Ian Campbell, and Chochakonam Siam, late Chief Joe Mathias. We always got to recognize where we come from so we can continue that hope, but hold our head high. Because things aren't easy. It wasn't easy to get here, but we got here. But it has to do with open doors. And our people, and I can say so proudly, our families of the MST have always had our arms up and welcome for open dialogue, to share a meal, to be part of the solution which we are standing today. The solution to a housing crisis. We are so familiar with that in our communities. It's being addressed. We are stepping forward, moving upstairs. So that hope for the future generations continues. This Attainable Housing Initiative is something that was conceived by our nations. It's truly innovative and uniquely Indigenous approach to development. And we were very pleased to find a partner in the provincial government of BC. We're opening up our lands to help support not only the culture and economic sustainability of our people, but also help provide housing in a city that is desperate for more. We are on a journey of integrating into Western society, and hasn't been easy. But we're on a journey of revitalization and protecting and sustaining our culture, our traditions, our language. Doors are opening, but we are now integrating into the survival of present-day life, looking at economic sustainability, economic wealth, economic health for the future of our generations. I would like to thank our relatives, the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, for continuing this journey. Special thanks to the City of Vancouver and both the province and city for being good partners. This journey of strengthening our relationship only continues as we move forward. Chin Kwimitomi Yuan Hothan Squalowin. Osiyam.
Chen Kwimitomi Tsleil-Waututh, Councillor Wilson Williams, Chen Kwimitomi Kalsealam, Chair of Squamish Council, and Tsleil-Waututh, for coming up and standing with us while the words were shared from Squamish Nation. I'd now like to introduce Tsleil-Waututh Nation Councillor Curtis Thomas to come up and share some words today. I'd also like to introduce Councillor, I'll let you introduce.
Yeah, absolutely. Haichka Sequoia, Hachapkasiam, Curtis Thomas, Conasqui, Talitsan Ut, Tsleil-Waututh, Masteo, Ait, Kanashqualawins, Kwanzi, Kutsnala, Haichka OCM. In my traditional language, Hunkaminam, I told you my name is Curtis Thomas, and Tsleil-Waututh is my home. I also told you that I bring good feelings in my heart. I'd like to start off by welcoming my councillors here, Councillor Wannock, Dennis Thomas, Councillor Tsleil-Waututh, Deanna George, to help me with the gift exchange. So I'll just thank you for your patience at this time. I'd like to call up Premier David Eby, Mayor Ken Sim, Wilson, and Chief Wayne for the gift exchange. Haitchka. At this time, Tsleil-Waututh Nation is offering a painting from a local artist, Olivia George, and it's quite a beautiful print. So, Haitchka.
He's back on a press conference.
Haitchka, Osiam. Today is a celebration. I'm absolutely honored to speak on behalf of the people of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. I want to thank Chief Wayne. I want to thank Councillor Wilson for your words today. I'd also like to thank Councillor Sequoia for doing a fantastic job as our MC. I raise my hands to the current leaders from Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and our staff. We can't forget about our staff who've been so monumental in pushing this initiative forward. I want to give a shout out to the technical team that's been working on behalf of the nations. Scott, Peter, Wade, Jason, and many, many others. I raise my hands to our partners and their staff at the province of British Columbia, the city of Vancouver, and especially the MST Development Corporation, led by David Negrin and Brendan Cook, who are here today. I truly believe we couldn't have done this without them and their hard work. I also want to thank everybody involved to date over the years who have stood together to work through the challenges, to take the necessary steps, to sign the agreements, to get the deals done, for our nations to get back some of our lands, which has set us up today to see this Attainable Housing Initiative come to realization. As First Nations people, the decisions we make and the actions we take today are not all for us. They are meant to positively impact the next 7 generations and beyond. The construction of these projects will provide jobs, skills training, career development, and revenue to support the continued growth of our people and our communities. It is our job now to inspire our people, to inspire our young ones, to create the connections and educate our people about the many career pathways available for them to thrive in this Indigenous-led economy. This Attainable Housing Initiative will benefit many future generations of MST people, along with those who choose to live in our territories. We truly are stronger when we stand together. Haitchka. Osia.
Chen Quinmentomi, Councillor Curtis Thomas, and family from Tsleil-Waututh. I'd now have the honor to be able to introduce, I guess they say his honor, Mayor Ken Sim, who's been a great partner in the Heatherlands development and has been there when we have asked for meetings in order to make sure that we were able to move ahead in a good way. So, Ken, if you can join us.
Good morning, everyone. I guess we're going to start with a little gift exchange as well. So, thank you very much. And Premier, our gift to you is not asking you for money today. Okay, so probably the most valuable financial gift that we're going to give anyone today. So awesome. So, like I said, good morning, and you know, it's such an honor and privilege to be here with my colleagues, my teammates here. Like I always say, I think the rural America gets way too much credit. These are my teammates here, Councillors Kirby Young, Councillors Meisner, and Councillor Klassen. And really our teammates at the City of Vancouver, everyone that works on you know, projects like this, they're actually doing the real work. I do want to thank you, you know, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh for allowing us to be on these lands today and being partners with you. Thank you for your friendship. You know, when I do land acknowledgements, the one thing I talk about is I think it's incumbent upon us to unlearn the you know, what we've been taught in the past and learn the true history as to what's happened on these lands. If we do that, we're going to build an incredibly beautiful future full of love, prosperity, and awesomeness going out well beyond 7 generations. And one of the things I'd like to share today, and one of the things I learned, you know, through my journey is, you know, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh have always been here helping us being everyone on these lands address housing challenges. And building a life here. So in, you know, the Chinese community met back in the day when Chinese individuals didn't have rights. It was actually, you know, Musqueam that stepped up and allowed people of Chinese descent to farm the lands to build a future. And when you look at the housing that's going to be provided, you know, here, 2,600 units, including 540 units of social housing, that is actually, you know, you're consistent with you know, being awesome to and very welcoming to everyone on these lands. So I just wanted to put that out. Now I have a speech written here, but I'm actually going to skip most of it because the Premier did an amazing job getting really technical. Thank God, that was awesome. That actually it made a lot of sense. So what I do want to highlight though is some of like what the project's going to look like. Make no mistake about it, we're building collectively here today a complete community, 4 acres of park and open space, a school, offices, 74 spaces for childcare. I wish that was around when I had my kids, let me tell you, would have thrown them in there. Retail, cultural center, and so make no mistake about it, this is a massive win, not just for this neighborhood and Vancouver, but for the region and the province. What else do I want to share with you? Lots of thanks, you know, so to our team at the City of Vancouver, thank you, like I said, but to Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, thank you for your perseverance. I know it's been challenging at times, and it's been an honor and a privilege to be working side by side with you. And this is where I have to be careful now because we're in an election season, and I want to stress the office of mayor and council, we do not pick a side in these elections. It is our fiduciary duty to work with the Premier's office and the Prime Minister's office, okay? And we actually give credit where credit's due, okay? Regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, if you do great things that help the City of Vancouver out and the region, we will highlight that. And so this is a nonpartisan shout out to the Premier and the office. Thank you. This project would not have happened without you, Minister Kalon, or as I like to call him, Ravi, Minister Rankin, Murray. Thank you very much for all of what you've done here, because you strip out the politics, and this is actually super important. This is incredible. And your support of this has been amazing. And also the support on some other files that we're dealing with right now. It's been great. So with that, let's just highlight the fact that we're super excited to be here and looking so forward to, you know, the opening, hopefully sooner rather than later. Great. Thanks.
I'm behind you, Ken. Thank you. I just need to check. Thank you for your words, Mayor. And it's truly a meaningful partnerships of all of us that makes possible what was once out of reach for so many people. And the foresight of our previous leaders, those who have left us and those that are still here to guide us, that make something like this a vision coming true, a legacy to leave for those who walk behind us. And I'd like to now call up all of the speakers to stand as we move into a Q&A portion for the event. And once that's done, we'll just close off after the Q&A.
Thank you for joining us today. We have members of the media here in person as well as those on the phone line. For those on the phone line, please press *1 to enter the queue. A reminder to all media that the Premier will be taking questions from media at another event today following his speech at UBCM. But we can begin today here on the floor with Richard Zussman from Global News. Go ahead, Richard.
Premier, I don't want to prejudge what's in your platform, but you made it clear you believe today's announcement is something that can be scaled. How do you see that happening? How quickly could it happen? And is this, in essence, a hint to what people should expect your vision for housing could be across BC?
Thanks, Richard. If I think about just one issue, if I had to choose just one issue that was so core to so many of the challenges we face in the province, that people face in their daily lives, it's the issue of housing. It's connected to everything. It's connected to economic growth. It's connected to the financial stress that families are feeling. It's connected to healthcare, the ability to recruit and retain the healthcare workers that we need. It's connected to street disorder issues about homelessness, whether or not people have a decent place to live. So being able to find constructive ways to go after housing, recognizing that there are finite levels of provincial dollars, and knowing that the problem of affordable housing is massive and would require a huge amount of resources. Finding these creative solutions to bring housing on, whether it's units that are vacant right now, making sure that they're occupied, or finding a way to finance housing that's actually attainable for middle-income people who earn a decent income, who should be able to afford a place, and can support that financing and pay for that financing, is part of the path forward. This isn't the whole answer, but this is a significant step forward. I am really looking forward to sharing our platform with British Columbians. There will be a strong emphasis on housing. Government's traditional role has been housing for the poorest of the poor, people who might otherwise be totally homeless. People are seeing today, and hopefully they have been seeing, that we are moving into recognizing that government needs to be involved to support middle-income housing, just like government used to when they built housing for soldiers returning from war, when co-ops were built by the federal government, or when tax breaks for home builders were created to build rental housing at the federal government level. Historically, that is what needs to happen to ensure that everybody has a chance to build a good place to live. I want to thank a couple of my colleagues behind me, Murray Rankin, who has handed in his retirement notice. He's got a couple days left as minister. I want to thank him for his amazing work on this project and working with Indigenous people across the province generally. Murray, thank you for all of your amazing work. Congratulations on that. And best of luck with your future career, whatever it may be. And Minister Kahlon, who has been working on this housing issue and taking it on head on. His work and the work of his team within the Ministry of Housing made today possible, but also laid the foundation for the work we have going forward to make sure that everyone has a chance to build a good life. Thank you, Ravi, to you and your team.
And Richard, do you have a follow-up question?
I do, for the Premier. The Conservatives have been recently on social media pointing at a document that the government put forward around Land Act changes, and they're pointing at a specific part there which describes the province's proposed Land Act changes, which we know have now been scaled back, but would say Land Act decisions could now be made by First Nations and the minister. Is that the position of your government, that Land Act changes would give the power of land title for First Nations or the minister to supersede somebody's individual land rights?
No, not at all, Richard. And I guess what I would say about this is, we have seen candidate after candidate, including the leader of the Conservative Party, advancing conspiracy theories. Everything from the leader saying that climate change is a hoax, that it's a lie, that we're carbon beings, therefore carbon pollution can't be real, to individual candidates advocating conspiracy theories about vaccines that save lives, about people who are gay, about cell phone towers and credit cards, really bizarre stuff. Bringing that approach to our relationship with Indigenous people and the fact and the reality that Indigenous people have rights protected under the Constitution of Canada, that they have repeatedly successfully asserted in court, and that we have to work in partnership together going forward. Bringing that conspiracy theory approach to say things that simply are not correct is not helpful. I'll give you just one example. We're in the legislature, the agreement with the Haida, a huge day. John Rustad stood up in the legislative chamber and he looked in the eyes of the elders from Haida Gwaii and he said, "Congratulations, this is an historic day. This is the right thing to do." And then he walked out of the legislature and hit social media and said, "This is an attack on people in British Columbia. People are coming for your backyards." It was the most ridiculous thing. It was totally false. And that is the approach that we have seen from John Rustad. I don't know which John Rustad will show up on Indigenous rights, and British Columbians can't take that risk. We need certainty. We need agreements. We need partnership. And today, it's about partnership delivering 2,600 attainable homes for the middle class. In the Northwest, it's about delivering major mines that are economic drivers in the community. I could go on, but the partnership is required. Conspiracy is not.
Our next question will come from Francis Beulah from the Globe and Mail. Go ahead, Francis.
Hi. So many nerd questions, but I'll limit myself to two.
Okay, I'll try to limit myself too, Francis. Yeah, I'll buy you a coffee and we'll just, yeah.
So 2,600 units, you're going to cover 40% of the cost. What is the total amount that the province will have to spend on financing? My guess is about $1 billion.
We are estimating about 670 million, Francis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is anything you've signed or come up with here today irrevocable, or could, if John Rustad wins, could he come in and roll this all back?
I see our legal team in the back corner. I want to thank the lawyers for their assistance here from Miller Thompson. Appreciate that. They did a lot of work, and we have entered into an agreement, but it is theoretically possible for a future government to cancel this, although I don't know why they would tell 2,600 families that they should be shut out of the real estate market. Although John Rustad has taken a number of positions on housing to shut families out of the real estate market that I can't understand, so that would probably be the case.
And Francis, do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, and this is really nerdy, sorry, but so they buy at 60, the government owns the other 40. Can they buy out that 40 if they want?
They can yes, they can exit the agreement at any point, but if they exit in advance of 25 years, then they need to pay the appreciation in the value of the property, as well as I'm just like making eye contact with the lawyers, as well as the principal of the initial investment. So say property values go up, they would have to pay that share of the government's appreciation in the property as well. And say property values go down, they would still have to pay the full amount back to the government that was loaned at the first instance.
Right. So they might sell and never have bought out that 40%. The government gets that value,
From
that
the proceeds
increased
of the
value,
sale.
or
That's
they
right.
buy it out and you get the increased value.
Yeah, the government's
Do they pay a different interest rate on the 40%?
Yes, if you go to the 25 years and buy it out, it's a 1% compounding interest over the term of the financing. 1.5%.
And that's all the time we have for questions today. Thank you for
You're
joining
right,
us.
that was nerdy, Francis. That was good. Thank you very much.